So what are some of the themes in the book? What did-
Well, one of them I think that we touched on is about the idea of flexibility, and another one is really about the importance of understanding and using your child's temperament in your parenting decisions. So one of the chapters of the book is all about temperament. That's how I actually got started in my career. I was a temperament and personality researcher, and I think that lineage sort of gets into this book. So I try to equip parents using some basic tools to be able to sort of come up with what their child's personality is and their own, right? Because actually, for things to work, I think it's good to understand both. There's a concept that I'm sure you remember, Dr. Joe, about the goodness of fit,
Mhm.
right? And so that a person's personality traits or a kid's temperament traits aren't good or bad in and of themselves, but they work or don't work compared to how they fit with the characteristics of the world around them. And
Can you
and
can you just tell people what temperament really is? Because I think people hear the word, and I don't think everybody really
sure,
knows what it is.
yeah, that's good. That's good. So I often consider temperament as sort of the building blocks of your personality. So these
Hmm.
are the very core traits in that you can see in a child. They tend to show up pretty early, like in infancy. They tend to have some genetic influence, but not certainly not genetic destiny, and they have some stability over time. So one trait might be something that people call extroversion. So there are kids who love novelty, they love stimulation, they want people around them, they want activity around them, they're motorically active, and there are kids who prefer lower stimulus activities, are happier to spend more time on their own, and that's a trait that we is somewhat enduring, and maps onto adults. So those are the kind of traits that we talk about, and when you combine them with other traits, you can get these temperament types that I talk about in the book. So one type might be an anxious temperament type. So these are kids who are prone to experience they might be a little bit more prone to experience things like anxiety and fear, and they may be a little bit less on the extroverted side. So they have that combination of traits. And that's a good thing to know. And it's a good thing to know about yourself, too, because if you have an anxious kid and you're somewhat anxious yourself, which is a combination that happens pretty frequently, in part because of genetics, that's a good thing to know because in many ways that combination can work out fine, but it may make a parent be a little bit more likely to overprotect a child, and in some ways that can sometimes make anxiety worse because you're teaching a kid that the world is a scary place, and you may need to make some steps to sort of move in the other direction.
So the temperament of the child then will influence the approach you take with that child. With let's say the picky eater, or any number of other characteristics. So can you give maybe an example of that?
Yeah.
Okay,
So let's
great.
talk about screens. So that's another area where parents are really struggling with, especially now with the pandemic, and people don't know, well, I can't send my kid to school. I can't play with, like, what else are they supposed to be doing these days? So screens, I think, is an interesting example, and it's very easy to be, put in one camp. Either, screens are the root of all evil in this world, or they're, it's time to get with the program because screens are everywhere. So just, give in and let them do what they want. But screens have some very positive aspects to them, and I think the research shows that they have some potential hazards and some negative. But those hazards can be different for different kids. So for kids who tend to be a little bit more aggressive, you may need to worry a little bit more about more aggressive content in the screens because they may decide that they're going to reenact those with their sister, or that it may desensitize them to things that they should not be so desensitized to. For a more anxious kid, the concern may not be so much that they're going to be more aggressive, but that you're going to traumatize them by exposing them to different content. So, you've got a little kid and they watch a scene from Jaws, not to date myself, they
Hmm.
may not want to take a bath for a month. And
Mm.
so you're thinking about other for another kid who may be what we call more kind of mellow, happy-go-lucky. The problem is that they like screens so much they just don't want to do anything else, right? So they're just too content to just sit on the couch all day. And the problem is, they're not doing things that probably would build a healthy brain in a better way. So if you can be aware of the temperament of your kid, then it can help sort of steer, what kind of limits you set and what kind of things you need to be concerned about.
Stretch the canvas, rush with madness. Is it sadness or just a show? Then go, 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 go.